What's up, YouTube? This is Bystander X79, guys. Today I'm coming to you with my latest deck profile, and as you can see, we're going to be doing Chain Burn Trickstars today. That's right, the version of Trickstars that will make your opponent want to punch you in the throat after they lose to this deck. Just in the name, you know that this deck's primary win condition is to burn through your opponent's life points. And the cool side effect is that this particular strategy has a secondary win condition built into it, and that's to deck your opponent out. But regardless of what happens, we're going to go right into this. We're going to start with the monsters. And of course, you gotta run 3 copies of Trickstar Candina. She is the Stratos of the deck, searching out your Trickstar spells, monsters, and traps upon normal summon. And she hits your opponent with 200 points of damage whenever they activate a spell or trap. Awesome. Going forward, we're going to be doing 3 copies of Trickstar Lycoris. Alright, now Lycoris, she is the primary burn engine of this deck, so you're going to be reviving her a lot using Reincarnation and Lilybell's effect. Anytime your opponent adds a card to their hand, whether they draw it, search it out from their deck using a search effect, or even add it back from their graveyard to their hand, she's going to activate and hit them with 200 points of damage. Cool thing about it, she also has a quick effect that allows you to special summon her to the field to bounce a Trickstar monster that might be in danger of being destroyed by battle or card effect, which is actually awesome. And it actually pairs very well with Candina's effect, because you can actually chain Lycoris to Candina's effect, get Lycoris onto the field, and you still get Candina's search, which also allows you to chain block your opponent from using something like Ash. Up next, mentioned this before, Trickstar Lilybell. She special summons to the field whenever she's searched out of the deck, and there are plenty of ways to do that. And the other cool thing is that she can attack your opponent directly for 800 points of damage, and when she does do battle damage, you get to turn around and add one of your Trickstar monsters from your graveyard back to your hand. So she is the monster that you want to recur Lycoris off of. Alright, and for the last monster, 3 copies of Draw and Lock. I think the Draw and Lock Reincarnation combo in this particular deck is one of the best combos to actually use as a defensive purpose. Just to stall to help build your field. It puts your opponent on a real bad back foot, being able to, in a top deck situation, and against particular decks, they might even be forced to scoop. Alright, that's the monster lineup. We are going on to the spells. I'm going to start off with 2 copies of Book of Eclipse. One of the best quick play spells in the game at the moment. When activated, it flips every card on the field face down in defense position, which can shut off a lot of continuous effects, specifically with the Dem the Dragon matchup. Awesome. And during the end phase, your opponent then flips up all their monsters, and they draw cards for each monster that they flipped up. This particular card can help facilitate the burn, especially if you activate before you summon any monsters, or it can facilitate the deck out by forcing your opponent to draw even more cards. So either way, it's a great card to have in this deck. Alright, Chain Burn wouldn't be a Chain Burn deck without Chain Strike. Alright, just be careful with it. You can't activate multiple cards of the same name before you activate Chain Strike. Typically, I usually wind up activating this at Chain Link 4, which does 400 life point damage times the link, which is Chain Link 4, which is going to be 1600, so that's awesome. Any extra damage can help you win that game. The other one, Chain, is the Chain Summoning. Now, this is pretty damn awesome card. Can't be activated unless it was Chain Link 3 or higher, but usually you can actually do that easily by chaining Lycoris to Candina's effect, and then dropping this card. And what that does allows you to get extra normal summons of that Candina, which means extra searches for your stuff, for your materials to build your field. Also has the same restriction as on it with Chain Strike. You can't activate multiple cards of the same name in the same chain before you activate this card. So, to help facilitate the burn damage, you have 2 copies of Dark Realm Nightmare. Basically, every single time your opponent receives effect damage, This card will deal 300 points of damage after the effect damage chains resolve, which is awesome. Each time it hits your opponent, it's going to be a separate activation. So, in a scenario where your opponent you have one Lycanroc and a Trickstar light stage on the field, your opponent just draws one card. Lycanroc activates, they hit it with 200 points. Then light stage will hit with another 200 points. That means this card will activate twice and deal an extra total amount of 600 points. It'll be 300, 300. Alright. 3 copies of Pot of Duality, because there will be times after you get your field set up that you want to dig into your deck a little bit more to get to the cards you need to help facilitate the burn or the deck out strategies. And of course, we got the Trickstar Light Stage package, which is 3 copies of Light Stage, 2 copies of Terraforming. Light Stage is awesome. When you activate it, you get to search a Trickstar monster from your deck to your hand. It also has the ability to hit your opponent with an extra 200 points every single time they get hit with any type of damage from a Trickstar card, whether it be an effect or an attack. So the attack goes through on Candina, a direct attack, it will be 1800 points of damage, and then Light Stage will activate, dealing that extra 200 points. It does not increase the attack of Trickstar monsters. This increases the damage. Another cool effect that a lot of people tend to ignore on it is that it can freeze a face-down set card your opponent has and force them to activate it during the end phase. A lot of times your opponent will miss timing and they'll have to get rid of their trap. So it's a great way to turn around and blink out back row. Alright, moving on to the traps, and this is where Lycanroc is really going to turn around and shine, because your opponent's going to be drawing a heck of a lot with these cards, and you got 3 copies of Disturber Strategy. What does this card do? Basically, your opponent has to take their hand, shuffle it back into their deck, and draw the same number of cards. You have multiple Lycanroc on the field with Light Stage, you're going to be taking a massive chunk of their life points just with effect damage alone. Alright, next card. 3 copies of Present Card. What does this card do? Forces your opponent to discard their entire hand and then just draw 5 cards. 5 cards with multiple Lycanroc on the field is 1,000 points each for each Lycanroc. You add in Light Stage, that'll be 1,200 then total for each Lycanroc activation. Pretty cool. Only thing about Present Card is that it's a hard once per turn, so you can only activate it once per turn. Now, a cool thing with this card is you have side effects. What do side effects do? Well, basically it allows your opponent to draw anywhere from 1 to 3 cards to their hand, thus activating Lycanroc's effect to burn them. Cool thing about it is that for each card that your opponent draws off this effect, you get 2,000 extra life points, which means you can actually pad your life points pretty well. This adds an extra layer of defensive measure by adding more life points for your opponent to try to go through, which will help you prolong the duel. Of course, you can't run a Trickstar deck without 3 copies of Trickstar Reincarnation. What does it do? Basically, it forces your opponent to banish their entire hand face down and draw a whole brand new one. A lot of times, you want this card to be the first in the chain so you can actually activate other cards like side effects, so they can actually have more cards in their hands when Trickstar Reincarnation goes off. This way, they're losing a more massive amount of chunk of their deck to be banished face down, and they're taking more burn damage as well. And last but not least, for a little more store power, 3 copies of Threatening Roar, because this will protect your Trickstar monsters from being attacked and destroyed, and ultimately taking it off the field. Alright, extra deck. Now the extra deck is here, even though you don't have to extend it to it, it's there just in case you need it. We have Crimson Heart, awesome card. Whenever a Trickstar monster is special or normal summon to the zone it points to, you gain 200 life points, which is completely and totally awesome. You can actually discard a Trickstar card from your hand to the graveyard to force both players to draw a card, which can trigger off Lycanroc's effect, triggering more burn damage. And the cool thing about it is, if your life points difference is 2,000 more than your opponent, you're drawing 2 cards, which means you're getting a +1 off of her. Alright, Holly Angel, she's got the arrows that actually point in the good corners, but basically, whenever a Trickstar monster is normal or special summon to the zone she points to, you hit your opponent with 200 points of damage, facilitating the burn a little bit more. Anytime your Trickstar monsters hit your opponent with effect damage, she gains the attack equal to that damage, which is cool. Alright. We got the Nightmare package, which is basically Cerberus and Phoenix, pop a special summon monster, pop back row. We also have Unicorn, which can spin a monster back to your opponent's deck. And of course we have Nightmare Mermaid in there just to help deal in case you get Iblied by your opponent. Link 4s. Boral Little Dragon to help break up the U-boards. Also pretty handy with its quick effect in a mirror match situation where you can actually chain it to contain its effect and really mess up your opponent's strategy. And then you have Boral Soul Dragon. This facilitates OTKs. You can weaken one of your opponent's monsters when it declares an attack. And then if you have a monster that's in attack position, you can shift into defense mode and you could actually swing it again with it. So all these Link monsters you're going to have to turn around and build up into the Link ladder. But of course, we also have a rank 3 package if you ever need to extend into it. Grand Pulse to pop back row. Phantom Knights to pop problematic monsters. And of course, you have number 47 Nightmare Shark to swing into your opponent to help you win the duels. Push for that extra bit of damage. Abyss Dweller, rank 4, to basically stop graveyard activating effects. Great against Thunder Dragon matchup. Evil Form Excited Knight, just to turn around and blow the field. And last but not least, we have the Utopia package to help swing over big monsters in case you need to do that. So guys, that is it. That is my Chain Burn Trickstar deck for the September 2018 ban list. Guys, if you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, enable notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Let me know how this deck works for you in the comments. And guys, until next time, peace.